Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, the United States brought on the front more HIMARS and they're going to use them against Russia, and they will use the Ukrainian territory. So let's see what's going on here. This article comes from Ukrainska Pravda. I know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? It's not a slip of a tongue or a mistake or anything like that. Yes. Ukrainska Pravda from October 11th, 2022. Another 4 HIMARS arrive in Ukraine. No, okay. So, Oleksiy Reznikov, one of the four HIMARS, Ministry of Defense for Moses of Ukraine. He's the Minister of Defense. So he's in charge of defense of the Ukrainian nation. Okay, whatever. So this guy, Reznikov, reported that another four high mobility artillery rocket system, HIMARS, arrived in Ukraine from the US. So the US brought HIMARS to blow the Russians up. 4 additional HIMARS from our American partners have arrived. You know that's not so, but anyway, for them to use against the Russians. First, they are not your partners, Reznikov, they are your boss. I thank, this is what Reznikov says, I thank Joe Biden, Lloyd Austin III, and the American people. Well, you are not welcome. And I'm telling you why, Reznikov, because I was not asked. I was not asked, I was not consulted about sending those or not. Those were sent to the front without my permission. Not even they didn't bother to ask me if I would agree. And then do it, even if I don't. So you're not welcome. They made a decision for all of us. I thank Joe Biden. Yeah, you can thank him. I thank Lloyd Austin III. You can, because they are kings. They decide to send whatever they want. Details. Reznikov has stated that HIMARS time is good for Ukrainians and bad for the occupiers. This is kind of sad, because Ukraine, I think, is occupied politically by NATO and United States of America, and they are used in this war where they lose their lives, their territory, their families, their heritage, their culture, and to add, you know, how should I put it, insult to the injury, you have 4 Jmihals in charge of your nation. Congratulations. So those guys are making the decisions that they received already made by the guys that have nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with you. And these guys are telling you what to do, and then they tell you, good job dying for your country. All this could have been averted, avoided, my dear Ukrainian friends. And I'm quoting, great news on the eve of Ramstein 6, where I am going tomorrow. There will be more, the defense minister added. Yes, Reznikov will bring American weapons, so you can fight your cousins, and the cousins can fight you. Reznikov is not your brother, is not your cousin, by far. Neither are those guys over there from about 6,000 miles away. I remember it was Stefan the Great. It was a Romanian king, Moldovan, from Moldavia. All right, he is called Stefan the Great, and he fought with the invading Poles in 1459, 69, 79 until he died. He fought with the Turks. He fought against the Tatars, about everyone who invaded his country. Sometimes he won, sometimes he lost. But he reigned for about almost 50 years, I think, which in those times Remember, it was in 1460 until the 1500. Then people would not live 60, 70 years or whatever. So he died eventually, but before he died, he left a testament, Slova, no word in Slavon. And he said that don't get friends in the future with the Westerns. You better get the Turk. If you are supposed to bend your knee to a master, bend it to the Turks, he said, because they're more honest than the Catholics. He had with Catholics because he was not a Catholic. So at that times, it was Catholics versus these guys. And they say, not those, not the Hungarians, not the Poles, not the Rome, not the Pope. No, the Turks, the Muslims, the infidels. So for him to say such a thing, and he was not a senile, okay, and he was not a Biden. So you have Ukrainians, you have Reznikov, Yermak, Zelensky, and Zhmyhal in charge of you, and you have a different nation right here with its history, its people, its culture, telling those guys what to tell you to do. Well, okay. What can you do? Background. On August 1st, Oleksiy Reznikov announced that 4 more HIMARS multiple rocket launcher systems had arrived in Ukraine. So this is October 11. So they got some more. Okay then. If you got some more, that's great. Go and fight. Actually, I'm not certain that Ukrainians are fighting. I'm already I already fell on the other side of the fence, and that is, it's not the Ukrainians operating those. But whatever, doesn't matter who. The fact is that they're fighting in Ukraine and they're fighting the Russians. So more weapons to come and more people to die on both sides. And when I talk about both sides, I'm not talking about NATO side or United States side. No, it's the Ukrainians. Ukrainians will die, the Russians will die, and some will just count their money and wait. Wait until one of these nation exterminates the other one. Because the Ukrainians will fight with those guys' armies, weapons, and command until there's no more. No more Ukrainian. I don't know what's going to be next. Probably by that time, NATO troops, which is United States and the vassal states, will say, you know what, actually, we have to get in because we're afraid that you guys are going to invade us next. So we better to create a buffer zone in Ukraine than to create it on the border of NATO. That's a pretty stupid justification that I provided, but it works just fine with our the lowest strata of our society, which buys that and say yes, and that's what's going to happen. They don't even have to justify anything. Like these guys sent the weapons to Ukraine. Did they justify to me? I didn't get their justification. I knew it's not a acceptable justification. I need more than that. And I'm upset that this thing occurred. That's the most thing that I'm upset. Not that the Russians are winning or the Ukrainians are losing or vice versa or people are dying. No, I'm just upset that they were channeled, and they got finally what they wanted. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.